At the end of August 2025, we spent a week in Tarragona, which is around 60 miles south of Barcelona. We stayed at the Hotel Estari, which is a 5-minute walk from the seafront, while also being a bit away from the town centre and main attractions. We found Tarragona to be a great holiday destination, with a little bit of something for everyone. Going when we did, we were in prime holiday season, but we didn't find it difficult to find somewhere to eat or a spot on the beach, although you may want to turn up nice and early to get the best spots. Our flight was into Reus, so getting to Tarragona was a short transfer via Salou, which took around 40 minutes. Travelling to Barcelona isn't too difficult either, as there is a direct train which takes around an hour and 20 minutes. Having stayed at a few locations in Catalonia, we found that Tarragona was less reliant on tourism than some of the other locations we'd visited. This was noticeable in the absence of cheap souvenir shops and outlets selling tat, such as t-shirts with silly slogans on them. This could be down to their other industries, as there are large chemical manufacturers on the outskirts of the city, and its port is one of the busiest in Spain. We liked this as we felt that we were getting a real experience of a Spanish town. The town area seems to be spread between two main areas, La Rambla Nova, which tends to be flanked by food and drink outlets, and the Old Town area, which has more shops selling clothing and essentials, although you will find well-known names such as Spar and Aldi. While we were there, we found most people spoke English to some extent. Tarragona has several beaches north and south of the port. We explored ones that are on the northern coast, all of which have lovely fine golden sand. This was a pleasure to experience after spending so much time in areas north of Barcelona, which tend to have more shingle and rocky beaches. They were large bays with gentle sloping inclines into the water, which makes them ideal for children. We couldn't believe how far you have to travel to get deep enough to swim. Due to this, by early afternoon, the seas felt lovely and warm, no doubt a result of the shallow waters warmed on the baking sand. After arriving mid-afternoon, we decided to get to know the area by heading towards the main street in the town, La Rambla Nova. On the way, we noticed a large group of mainly young people gathered outside Casa de la Festa, which gave us the impression there was an event of some sort taking place. While indulging in an ice cream from Siavent Cafeteria, we noticed a number of large caricatures making their way up towards us near Monument Arroja de Uria. At the time, we didn't know that this was a meeting of the giants and big heads, which were part of the celebration of St. Maggie, which is a huge tradition involving dancers, human towers and more events taking place during the space of a week. Despite not knowing what they were about, we still had a good look around at these really well made and impressive figures. We felt really privileged to have come across them purely by accident. Afterwards, we walked the full distance of La Rambla Nova, which is around 1 kilometre, just to get acquainted with our surroundings. We'd already decided that on the first full day we'd take a trip into Barcelona, catching the train at Tarragona station where, not for the first time in Spain, a pigeon decided to use my head as a toilet. We've been to Barcelona several times now, but never tire of its vibrance and seemingly endless number of things to see and places to go. This time we decided to explore the area around the Arc de Triomphe and Ciutadella Park. Despite passing several times and always saying we should check it out, we never had. It was really nice to have a relaxing walk around Passeig de Lluís Companys, where you'll find people feeding the extremely tame parakeets. It looked like a great place to go if you'd hired a bike. When moving towards Ciutadella Park, we knew there was a large water feature, but didn't realise it was so impressive. Being there in person, it really did make an impression, and it was lovely to be able to walk around it. The park itself was really nice too. There's a lake where you can hire a boat, which was very busy, and a number of sculptures scattered around. The only slightly negative thing would be the men that were trying to sell bottles of water, which were numerous in places. We ended the day by doing a little bit of shopping at the Magnamarum shopping centre, which is situated by the port. before catching the train back to Tarragona at the Estacio de França, which we'd not visited previously. It was an impressive building that I'm glad we saw. Despite saying we would take it easy in Barcelona, we did cover quite a bit of ground. So the following day we decided that we needed to take it easy. So we made our way early to Playa El Miracle, deciding to settle on the side furthest away from the port. At this time we were one of the only people on the beach. The beach was a lovely fine sand, which did have a little bit of debris from the sea, such as bits of seaweed and twigs, but no litter, which was great. We found the shallow sloping sand and gentle waves really nice, and were surprised how warm it was. The only downside about this location was the metal fencing that stretched most of its length, which made you feel a little bit like you were in a prison camp. We also noticed a few people had dogs, despite there being signs saying no dogs. After a great day at the beach, we decided to have a walk around the town area again, this time exploring the area around the Roman walls and Via dell'Impero Roma. Along our travels we came across a huge number of people gathered around the Catedral de Tarragona and the large steep steps in front of this. Little did we know we were about to be treated to a procession of the giants and big heads, part of the celebration of St. Maggie. The procession looked to have a military feel to it, with Roman soldiers and modern soldiers, I'm sure representing periods of Tarragona's history. It was obvious that a huge amount of attention, effort, care and skill had gone into not only the costumes and caricatures, but the dances and performances that took place by the various groups. After it had finished, we had a good look at the impressive cathedral, which has tons of character. I'm always fascinated by the little heads that frequent these kind of old buildings. It's an attention to detail that you just don't see in buildings these days. The following day we decided to go to Playa Arabasada, which was a short walk from our hotel. On the way we passed a Mercadona and an Aldi, which was really convenient, enabling us to pick up a bite to eat and a drink. On arrival at Playa Arabasada, we were quite surprised just how many people were there so early, considering how quiet Playa El Miracle had been the previous day. Despite this, we were still able to find a spot close to the sea and be able to keep our eye on our belongings while going for a swim. I think we both say that it was a nicer beach than Playa El Miracle, but not wanting to get burned, we left after around 3 hours and went back to the hotel for a quick shower and spent the afternoon exploring more of Tarragona's town, exploring the area around Placa de Mossen Cinto Verdaga, visiting some of the independent shops in the area. From here we decided to make the journey to Park Central to see what more mainstream shops there were in the area. This shopping centre has a large selection of popular mainstream stores and food outlets, along with a supermarket and 6-screen cinema, giving you something to do if the weather's not great. The Tarraco Arena also offers live performances that could help you fill up a day or an evening. We passed on our way back to the hotel, but didn't get a chance to visit during our stay. The next day we decided to visit Playa Savanosa, which is just around the coast from Playa Arabasada. The walk takes around 10 minutes and involves walking over a rocky section of the coast, so it's advisable to wear appropriate footwear and try not to step on the insects crossing your path. The beach was another lovely experience. The sand was really fine and comfortable to lay on, while the sea was warm, clean and calm, with another nice gentle incline from the beach. While swimming, we did notice that the northern half of the beach was frequented by nudists, so bear that in mind if that's an issue for you. After being in Tarragona for several days and not looking into its Roman history, we felt it was time to go and see some of the sights afterwards. Closest to us was the amphitheatre, which cost €5 each to enter. It was built in the 2nd century and could host up to 15,000 spectators. The events must have been a sight to behold, especially considering its attractive coastal location. Our next destination was the circus, which was another really impressive sight and again cost €5 each to enter. Built in the 1st century and able to house up to 30,000 spectators, it held chariot races and is one of the best preserved examples in Europe. It was great to walk to the top and to get a view of Tarragona, with the cathedral positioned prominently at the summit looking over the population. It also gave us a chance to gather our bearings and to work out where the different places we'd explored were in relation to each other. A short walk from here is Placa de la Font, which seemed to be populated predominantly by restaurants and bars, so no doubt a great place to enjoy an authentic Spanish meal and drink. Located at the end is a massively impressive Ajuntament de Tarragona, casting its intimidating presence on the square below. The whole area has buildings with unique and charming architecture, which we really enjoyed exploring. The following day we continued our Roman theme and took a 5-kilometre walk from our hotel to Ferreres Aqueduct. Most of this was through parts of Tarragona we'd not explored. Along the way we came across a market taking place in Placa de Cuba, which is there on Fridays between 8 and 2. Here you can pick up clothing and fresh produce. It's also a good place to pick up a drink on such a hot day if you're making the same trip. Over a kilometre of the journey to the aqueduct is over rough terrain with sections quite treacherous, so dress appropriately if you're considering making the journey. The construction is extremely impressive. Originally used to bring water to the people of Tarraco, it spanned over 15 kilometres when built. Today, only 217 metres of this remains, towering over the valley below. At its highest, it stretches to a height of 26 metres. It's amazing to see that the blocks of stone have stood the test of time so well, especially considering that they were constructed without the use of mortar. It was great walking over the top of it and viewing it from such a unique position, maybe giving us insight into why the locals referred to it as Pont del Diable, which translates to Devil's Bridge. After stopping for refreshments, we walked back into Tarragona by the side of Camp de Mart, an outdoor arena known for live bands and music. Here you can find a park area with places to relax in the shade, the large terracotta text for a photo opportunity, and Muralla Romana de Tarragona, which are the Roman walls. The entry to these is again €5, and these are some of the oldest remnants of the Roman occupation, built in the 2nd century BC. They originally stretched for 3.5 kilometres, protecting the inhabitants of the Roman stronghold of Tarraco from attack. Still today over a kilometre of these walls remains, preserved with 3 of the towers. Over the years, later populations of the area developed and built on the original walls, and you can see this in the construction, from larger megalithic stones to smaller stone pieces using mortar as seen in more modern construction methods. After such an action-packed day, we decided the best way to spend the late evening was to relax on Playa El Miracle, soaking up more of the Spanish sun, enjoying the fine sand and warm seas. During our last day, we were sad to be leaving after such a great stay, so started the day with another trip to Playa Arabasada. Despite getting up at a good time and heading out quite early, we were surprised that it was even busier than before. So if you prefer a quieter beach, it's definitely worth visiting on a weekday rather than on the weekend. During the afternoon we had a look around parts of Tarragona we'd not really had chance to explore, such as the area around Forte de la Reina, and the rocky shoreline around it. The sun was warm and the area was peaceful and relaxing. Perfect way to round off a great holiday. We then walked along the beach and to the port, where there are a good number of restaurants and bars, although it looked like there was a large amount of construction going on at the time. It'd be interesting to see what the area is like once it's all done. We've rounded off the day with another visit to Rambla Nova and Placa de la Font, purchasing a few items to take home with us in the morning. Our pick-up point was across from the amphitheatre outside the garden area, which was a nice place to wait for a bus. In terms of Hotel Astari, we really enjoyed our stay. The styling of the rooms was modern but functional, while being nice and clean. I really liked the medium oak effect used around the TV and on the drawers and doors. The bed was really large and very comfortable, while the air conditioning worked well. However, the best part of our room was the balcony. We thought it was amazing. It was a good size, offered privacy, and featured an awesome rooftop garden. We were really lucky that we were staying in room 126, which meant that our balcony faced towards this. While sitting out on an evening, it felt like you were sitting in the wilderness, aided no doubt by the glass panelling. The bathroom facilities were good too. The shower had two heads, with the smaller one being flexible, enabling you to blast the sand from between your toes. We really liked the large wide sink too, enabling both of us to get around it at the same time, while the supplied airdryer was the best my wife had come across on our travels. Our room also had a fridge as standard, which we thought was great, and came in really handy for trips to Mercadona and Aldi. We didn't try the hotel's breakfast though, as we thought €12 each per person was a bit expensive, although we did grab a cappuccino while at the hotel, and they were very nice, only costing €2.50. The rest of the hotel was just as stylish, with glass panelling and unique lighting features. The staff were really helpful and the pool was a good size, while the garden was a nice place to relax on an evening. We definitely would stay at Hotel Astari again and would recommend it to others. Overall, we really enjoyed our holiday in Tarragona. It's definitely somewhere worth checking out. I loved how it didn't seem like a dedicated holiday destination, which gave us a more authentic feel of the Spanish way of life and culture. We found its history interesting, and its coast was just what we needed. I think it's probably one of the best locations you could stay at if you have children, due to the shallow seas and gentle inclines from the beach. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and please feel free to like, share, subscribe and watch my other videos.